Zaid Khan, a tech entrepreneur rethinking how we rest and heal. Over Biryani, we found real connection. I'm Chris Choo. Welcome to HOTPLATE SG60. Zaid, welcome to HOTPLATE SG60.
Thank you for having me.
I've tried your products there. It really works. But I'm actually really fascinated as to how it works, especially this one. I don't know whether it was a placebo effect, but I'm a skeptic. But I did have a good sleep after placing this under my pillow. And I was looking for electronics, white noise, whatever, right? But all I found was like these two semicircles in there. How does it work?
We've been researching on this for over 15 years. It's a type of magnetic field, but it's also not a magnetic field. This is our technology. That's why we have 16 patents for this. How it works is that it emits a special type of field, which tones up your blood vessels, which improves the circulation in your throat. When the circulation in the throat improves, it opens up your air passages at night. And you're getting in more oxygen, which relaxes your muscles, produces more sleep hormone. That's how you sleep better with this.
I know this is proprietary.
Yeah.
But you don't have a circuit in there, do you?
We don't have a circuit.
It's some rare earth magnet in there or something like that?
You're right. It is made out of rare earths, but it's a 4-step process if I can generally overview. We take a specific group of rare earths. We have a proprietary process by which we pass the rare earths through, and that process changes the properties of those rare earths. And then once we change the properties of those rare earths, we make a nano assembly of those modified rare earths inside the device. And then once we've done that, we have a special mechanism. In fact, we made a special machine with some companies in Germany, which can energize that arrangement. And once it's energized, it creates a specific type of field, which the effect you can feel. And I can guarantee you that it's not a placebo, because we did a study on 50 people. Half of them we gave a placebo, and the rest half we gave the real product in order to rule out the placebo effect. The ones with the placebo noted a very small difference in sleep quality, but the ones with the device, their sleep quality improved by more than 2 times.
This is fascinating, you know. I mean, I keep up with the latest in science and technology, but I still don't understand it. I mean, you've got rare earths there. I guess you magnetized it with something and you created a specific field with a specific frequency, and this helps put you to sleep. Now, okay, that bit I sort of understand, but how did you come to understand what field helps you go to sleep? What was that research? One's technical, the other one's medical, right? So did you have to work with a medical team to determine that?
You're absolutely right. It was more of a hit and trial. It actually started all with food tech. We realized that by modifying magnetic fields, we can control the intermolecular bonding strength of water. And once we were able to modify those bonding strength of water, we understood that food has a lot of water inside it. And that this device can help to keep food fresh for a longer period of time.
What? This device can help you sleep as well as keep food fresh?
We started out with this one. We found out that it can, by modifying the bonding strength of water, it can help fresh foods to retain the water, making them fresh, their freshness last for a longer period of time. So
you're talking about freshness without freezing, right? Because once you freeze something, it breaks the molecular structure of the food and it destroys a lot of the flavor. So you're keeping it, I'd say, in a chiller, it will last much longer in its natural state.
You're absolutely right. In the chiller, in room conditions, even when freezing the food, like if you freeze fish with the device and then you defrost it, it will lose less liquid. If you freeze the fish or any other meats without the device and then you defrost it, it's going to taste very dry, because you're right, it breaks the molecular structure freezing. But with this device, the molecular structure remains intact.
Wow.
Yeah.
This isn't science. This is alchemy.
It is. Yes,
it's alchemy. It's alchemy. How did you get into this? I mean, you were at NUS and you studied venture creation, was that?
So I came to Singapore to study Masters of Science in Venture Creation. And the batch I got admitted to was the first batch of this course. And during my program, I met my colleague, my co-founder, who was already working on this technology. And when I came, I helped to develop the sleep product. So this sleep product, I'm also one of the inventors of this. Previously, I was working in food tech. I was working in alternate proteins, insect proteins, and agricultural technology.
This is really out of the box. This is really not within any mainstream technology. Do you see this happening in Singapore? Do you think Singapore is a good place for ideas like this to surface? Because everybody talks about Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, things like that. But Singapore, to come up with groundbreaking technology, do you think it's possible? Or is it already there? Because I'm not in the business.
I think it's growing very rapidly. The venture capital, the startup ecosystem in Singapore is growing very rapidly. In Singapore, you already have the most compact and the largest startup ecosystem in all of Asia. It's called Block 71. I think they have about 164 startups over there. Wow. And we're also part of that ecosystem. As far as the technology, there's nothing similar or the like of this in the world at the moment. We're the only one in the world who is doing this. That's why we have 16 patents for this technology globally in 7 countries. And you're right, this is the only non-invasive snoring product in the market right now.
What's the percentage of people who snore?
That's a good question. In Singapore alone, it's estimated that over 30% of the adults have a snoring and even a sleep apnea problem. And globally, 2 out of every 8 people in the whole world suffer from some sort of snoring in their life. So the percentage is very big.
But nobody admits it, right? Nobody admits that they snore.
It's a private thing. Yeah, people don't like to admit that they snore. Yeah. And our biggest client base is women who buy for their husbands or their partners, because a vast majority of men snore.
Why is that? Is that a health problem? Because I read somewhere that sleep apnea creates the worst snoring. So sleep apnea is a serious disease, right?
Sleep apnea is when your soft palate, it relaxes to such an extent that it completely blocks the air passage, and you choke at night to the point where you have to choke at night. You cannot breathe, and you wake up naturally because you're choking. If you don't wake up because of apnea, then you'll have brain hemorrhage or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing.
But what is the correlation between health, general fitness, and snoring and sleep apnea? Or is there none? Can a very fit person otherwise be a very bad snorer? I'm just curious.
There is a deep correlation according to the studies that we've done recently. So when people snore, we put an oxygen meter on their finger to measure how their blood oxygen fluctuates at night. So every time a person is snoring, we notice that their blood oxygen levels dip to dangerous levels. And it keeps on doing that the whole night. People who have sleep apnea, their blood oxygen levels dip even further to a point where it can cause a brain injury.
So I guess that if the person has underlying health problems or is not so fit, his blood oxygen would be much lower.
Usually, a lot of people who snore, they would wake up and they would still feel tired. They would think that they slept 8 hours, but they still feel tired when they wake up, and they would need to sleep during daytime. It's because their body hasn't properly recovered at night.
Yes.
Your body needs an optimum oxygen level of 98% throughout the night to recover. But these people, their oxygen levels keep on dipping. That's why they cannot recover properly during sleep.
Wow. Now, a bit about your personal life. You're originally from Pakistan.
I am, yes.
Why the journey to Singapore? You're obviously highly, highly qualified, intelligent. You could have gone anywhere in the world. Why journey to Singapore?
There are a few reasons why I came to Singapore. I already had some business going on in Pakistan for alternate proteins. And I wanted to grow the business.
If I could just ask you, at what age did you start doing business or become an entrepreneur? I'm just curious.
After I graduate, after I did my undergrad, I started working for a corporate. And then I worked for corporate for about 6 years. And then when I was 26, I quit corporate. I I thought I've had enough of that.
What did you study at uni? Your first degree?
I studied business and finance.
Ah.
Yes, and I worked with the largest chemicals company in the world for 3 years, and I have a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. My father is a doctor by profession, but he has his own setting. He is not employed by a hospital, but rather he's a shareholder at one of the largest hospitals in the country. Then my brother, he lived in Singapore for a very long time. Also one of the reasons I came to Singapore. He's a highly accomplished entrepreneur, but now he's in Dubai.
Small segue. Dubai is really making a mark in the world. It's like giving Singapore a run for its money, right? It's like positioning itself as the Singapore of the Middle East. Is it an attractive place for entrepreneur like yourself?
It's doing a good job. But I think it's actually starting out right now. What Singapore started quite a long while ago. Maybe Dubai doesn't have that original institutions that Singapore has. Like you have the National University of Singapore, you have NTU, from where all of that research, that patent base, that technology base comes from. Whereas Dubai doesn't have that much intellectual knowledge. Yeah. They're attracting people, the intellectuals, which Singapore already started a long time ago. So I think Singapore is quite ahead of the curve. Dubai is a very good place for trading. Yeah. There's no tax. It has an edge in Singapore in that sector. But I still feel technology-wise, Singapore is way ahead. Yeah, because there's a lot of focus on developing technology, researching. The universities are world-class. I think the ecosystem is great because NUS itself, right, they have this program through which we graduated. It's called the Graduate Research Innovation Program. They take you to a 3-month acceleration. They train you. They help you to get investment. And not only that, they invest themselves. Right. So they give you the seed money to go start up, to try out your idea.
The community of like-minded people like you in Singapore, are they from diverse racial backgrounds, diverse ethnicities, things like that?
Yes. Yeah. Very, very diverse. Yeah. I think the good thing about Singapore is that you find people from all over the region come here to search for companies, to search for startups. And you can experience that. You go to any exhibition in Singapore. 2 weeks ago, I was at Health Tech Asia. I had people coming from Australia, from the US, from Japan, from China, from Taiwan. So people from all over the place. So I think the convenience that Singapore brings, maybe no other country brings that convenience. Travel is easy. The systems are clear. The government also provides a lot of grants.
Why don't we have unicorns? Some of the Slavic countries are producing unicorns. What advice do you think you can give to change shape so that all this effort and money comes to fruition?
You're right. Singapore doesn't have many unicorns. But I think considering the size of Singapore, it still has quite a significant number. Just look at the ecosystem from NUS.
Name one unicorn from Singapore.
Carousel, Grab, PatSnap. Quite many, yes.
Okay, so Grab listed in the States. I wouldn't say they started out
Yeah, they didn't start
in Singapore. I mean, the two brothers went to Harvard. I don't know what, but they are actually from the Tan family who are actually Malaysian.
Right.
Yeah. Carousel, I don't know much about, but I wouldn't consider a unicorn because I don't know, has he even got any funding, right?
They have
have
quite,
they
quite
reached
a lot
$1 billion?
of funding. They already reached $1 billion, valuation. They crossed $1 billion quite a long time ago. PatSnap is one of the recent ones. It came out of Singapore. It's a patent platform and it's used globally right now. So there are some, but you're right, there can definitely be more. Singapore is a really small market. And before expanding to other markets, like it's the case with most startups, right? They cannot make it past that stage. And other thing is that a lot of the tech startups that come out of Singapore, because of being a small market, they incorporate other entities in other countries. Like once the company grows a little bit more, they'll either go to the US, they go to China, and then that entity would grow to be a unicorn, right? It wouldn't be the Singapore-based company anymore. It would have its roots in Singapore, but the entity that becomes a unicorn would be in another country. Yeah.
Great. Now let's look at some photos.
Okay.
Fascinating, I think I've ever seen. What are these goats doing?
So this is a meme that circulates every year in Pakistan during the Eid festival. So we have this festival of Eid in which you need to sacrifice a lamb or a goat,
Okay.
and you feed the meat to the poor. So this is a meme which shows that these are the goats that didn't get sacrificed, and now they're in a boss mood, and they're returning back, and they're very confident. They're going off their groove.
Do they actually walk like that, or were they trained to walk like that? I'm just fascinated.
I don't know, but it seems
Yeah.
like they're just having fun. They're enjoying the walk back home.
Definitely. I mean, what the heck, right? These are the coolest goats I've ever seen.
Fun fact about Pakistan: there are more goats in Pakistan than there are humans.
Is that because you eat a lot of goat, or you don't eat the goat?
Actually, people eat goats.
So is that one of the main meats in Pakistan? It's supposed to be healthier than the other red meats.
It is because it has a very low fat content compared to lamb. It's very lean. Yeah.
Are you there at all in this photo, or is this just
I took the photo.
okay.
When I went back. As you might know, the history of this region is that the Mughals came from Afghanistan and they invaded the subcontinent of India.
Yeah.
And they built their own architecture, right? This is one of their architecture. It's a very long time ago.
It's gorgeous.
It's called the Badshahi Mosque, which means the Emperor's Mosque. It's, the same architecture that used in the Taj Mahal.
And this?
This was my trip to the US in November last year. So it was organized by the National University of Singapore, Block 71. So Block 71 was in Ayer Rajah, Singapore. It was a factory area. It was about to be closed by the government, I think about a decade ago, before NUS bought the space, and they built the startup ecosystem over there, right? So they kept the original name of Block 71, and now Block 71 is many different blocks, up to Block 85, I think, within Singapore. But the original name was kept, and it has expanded to many countries now. It's in Indonesia, it's in China, in the US, in Japan. And if you're part of Block 71 ecosystem, you have access to all of the other Block 71s globally, right?
So say you are a US tech startup, nothing to do with Singapore, but you're interested in something about Singapore that can help you. You can actually apply to join the Block 71 in the States.
You can.
Become a member.
You can do that.
Wow, that's a great idea, Yeah. So you just exponentially expand your network of knowledge, right? And you can share knowledge.
A big part of startups is really not the tech. It's really the network. I think Block 71 has done a great job in trying to expand that network and in trying to grow it even further. In Asia, we are kind of I think the education system is kind of like from the beginning is more of a following mindset, is that you have to listen to the teacher, you have to listen to the professor. Anything that's out of line is kind of unacceptable. Whereas in the West, creativity is valued much more. I've seen startups in the West, the idea is very normal, but the way they present it, they make it feel like this is the best thing in the world. Whereas in Asia, you have very good technology, but the way it's presented needs to boost up quite more.
Yeah.
Many times, it's not the technology that sells, it's the person that sells. You have to embody the technology. You have to be the face of the technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you sell that. Yeah. It's not just a small product. The competition is so severe in this industry, right? In the tech industry. There are hundreds of startups doing the same thing. The way that you find the gap, you penetrate the gap is by being different. That's why we see a lot of startups now in Southeast Asia going from valuation of over $1 billion and then that they have no money left the next day. And it happened so quickly within a year. Yeah. That's why for my startup, I have this really strong desire to be very revenue focused. And with my team as well, we just focus on how we can grow our revenues rather than keep on getting investment from outside. That's why we have a very small
How big
investment.
is your team right now?
We are 6 people in management now and 4 people in manufacturing. We started out with 2 people.
Wow, that's still a pretty... It's a burn, right? I mean, it's still quite a...
Right? It is, but since we are focused on revenue generation, we try to compensate the burn through the revenues, and we don't try to rely on too much external investment. We have raised a very small amount of investment. We've given less than 5% of our share so far, And we plan to keep it that way until we really need the money.
I think that's great. I really enjoyed this conversation. Brings me back to the old days when I used to sit around and grill people. Okay, let's go grill something else now.
Let's go.
Zaid, we're going to be making lamb biryani today. Lamb biryani came to Singapore with Indian Muslim migrants in the 1800s. It's a festive favorite at weddings, mosques, and Hari Raya feasts. Okay, so you are my sous chef.
Perfect.
The most flavorful kind of fat I find is ghee for cooking.
And the healthiest as well.
I've never heard that ghee is healthy.
The reason it's healthy is because it doesn't oxidize at high temperature.
Yes, you are right.
Like most vegetable oils.
Yes. So the moment the spices hit the oil, you can smell.
So in our home kitchen, when we were young children, we would try to go and make something when our mother's asleep. So father would go out for work and end up creating a big mess and then get a big scolding later on.
I've got a nice secret ingredient.
Oh.
So this is rendered lamb fat, which is gonna make it
It's gonna really bring out the taste. Looking good already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious. I think the lamb fat, you're right. I really can taste the difference with that.
I pre-prepared some lamb chops that go in. We're almost there, There's this ongoing conversation about should you eat vegetables or should you not eat vegetables?
Right.
I would say that it really depends because the body is definitely capable of processing the nutrients from a carnivore diet. Because if you look at the Inuits, people who live in countries places where you can't grow any vegetables, you're fine.
Even in Pakistan, right? If you go to restaurants, you rarely find vegetable dishes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a stereotype or not, but if you order vegetables in a restaurant, it's considered like not good manners, especially if you have guests. You don't give vegetables to guests. You give them like big meats to eat.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done with this. Now we are going to layer. Rice smells wonderful because I cooked it with cardamom, bay leaf, cloves, star anise. So it's quite aromatic on its own already.
I can smell it.
Okay, now I'm gonna add some saffron to the milk.
Bring out that nice color.
Give it a stir. And then just sprinkle liberally over the... Okay, that should be enough. You grab some ghee. Looks wonderful, doesn't it?
It looks amazing.
Color. This is another secret weapon. This is fried onion. Bawang goreng. Yeah.
Bawang goreng.
So, water. So what language do you speak in Pakistan? Urdu, is it?
It's called Urdu. It's written the same way as you write Arabic.
Yeah.
So everyone who knows Urdu can read Arabic, but they can only understand 20% of it.
It's supposed to be the language of poets, isn't it?
It is. A lot of poetry in that language.
So can you recite a short poem or?
Okay, I'm going to recite one verse from a very famous poet in Pakistan. And he has this very beautiful verse in one of his poems. It goes something like, "Tu nahi jahan ke liye bana, jahan tere liye bana."
Wow.
Yes. It means the universe has been made for you, not that you have been made for the universe.
Sound like Hindi as well, right?
It is because a lot of Hindi that we see now is actually Urdu, but they write it in Hindi because Hindi itself is a very difficult language. Pure Hindi sounds very different. So to facilitate, because the Mughals, they ruled over the entire subcontinent, so Urdu became the major language that time.
Yeah.
So we can understand each other. India and Pakistan, they can understand the language.
So we're done. I'm going to stick this on the stove, for a couple of minutes to make it hot, and then we can eat. Coming through, really hot. Let's see what we made. Wow, look at
Smell
that.
is amazing. The color also come out now.
Yeah. Okay. This is where the magic begins. This is when biryani starts to look like biryani.
Yeah.
Looks good. Gonna serve you.
Cute.
Okay. Yep, some mango.
Usually we are advised by our elders to just say that in the name of God before we eat anything. We say Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Let's eat.
Let's eat.
The meat is cooked very nicely.
This is the way I like biryani. Yes.
Yeah. The flavors all blend in very nicely.
Success. What do you miss most about home?
Now that
Pakistan.
I have biryani already, I cannot say that. But I think it's usually the gathering of the families. That you always have some company with you. You never feel that loneliness. You always have extended families. Most of them either live very close together or in the same house. So there's always something going on.
Yes.
There's always someone you can reach out to.
And I think that this is something that very modern societies like Singapore is missing out or losing, right? We used to have extended families, but now it's more about the small units and you don't see anyone anymore.
When you can make good food at home, you don't need to go to the restaurant.
That's the reason I make good food at home, so I don't have to go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
What do you think is the greatest misconception that people have about Pakistan, of how they perceive Pakistan?
I think because of mainstream media, a lot of people would think that Pakistan is a dangerous place to go to. But in fact, it's very safe. Another misconception is that the people are not friendly. But I think that's a very big misconception. They really like if some foreigner comes to the country. And to them, guest is like sent from God.
Yeah.
So it's like an obligation for them to teach, treat the guest properly.
Yes. What about Singapore? What do you think is the greatest misconception that people have about Singapore?
Okay, I went to the US and almost everyone told me that, Singapore is the country where you have so many rules and regulations. You cannot even eat a chewing gum over there. But I think we're a very free society. The rules are there to protect the citizens.
Yeah.
And you don't feel that you're being constrained or bound in any way.
Yeah.
I think the West has this misconception about Singapore.
Singapore is a really interesting place. A lot of interesting people like yourself and all our guests live here. Yeah.
And indeed, there's so much going on in Singapore. You can find a version of everything that's going on in the world at some level in Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's a small country, but it has a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I've seen Singapore, there's so much religious harmony, cultural harmony. And maybe in that sense, Singapore and Pakistan, in terms of the cultural aspect, are a little bit similar. And I say this why? Because both were under British rule, both were colonized, and they got separated from a bigger nation.
Yeah.
Singapore got separated from Malaysia, so it has those cultural inheritances from Malaysia, and Pakistan got separated from India.
Yeah.
That's why it has those cultural inheritances from India, and not too much of its original. So it's more imported, bring from other nations that came together. Like in the provinces that border India, you see a lot of Indian influences. In the provinces that border Afghanistan, you see a lot of Afghan influence. And in the provinces that border Central Asia and China, you see a lot of those influences. So in that sense, you see Singapore also, that a lot of Malaysian influence, a lot of Chinese influence, a lot of Indian influence.
Yeah.
Yes. So that creates a lot of harmony in the country.
You're right.
You're working with a global community over here. Yeah, that's something that lacks in Pakistan because there's very little tourism.
And food, right? Food in Singapore just brings everyone together.
It does. It does. You have food from every culture over here.
Look, we're having biryani, right?
Having biryani in Singapore, yes.
What do you think? Authentic?
I think it's very authentic, yes.
Yeah.
Because I've had it back home and I've had it here. I really cannot tell the difference. So you have passed the test of being an excellent chef.
Thank you.
From misconceptions to memories, Biryani opened up stories of home, harmony, and surprising truths. I'm Chris Choo. This is HOTPLATE SG60. What will your next meal uncover?